Alright, lads, what is going on? I am back for episode 3 of this 2030 challenge where we are taking control of Aston Villa to get them up to the Premier League, back where they belong. And I have played 10 games in the Sky Bet Championship. We've also participated in the Capital One Cup, so there are quite a few fixtures to review. First off, tiny little bit of transfer news, just another loan really to fill in the sort of gap I felt was there in the squad. And it's this guy, Diego Donici, a 19-year-old winger. Again, it was just Chris White on the left wing. There was no sort of backup left winger. So I brought this guy in. He's decent. He'll do a job for a season. Got a lot of potential. So hopefully, if he becomes accustomed to the club, maybe, just maybe, we can pick him up on a more permanent basis. And I think if he develops well enough, then he could be a very good player. So obviously I left you guys at the Norwich game. The first 10 fixtures have left the table looking like this. It is incredibly tight at the top. Us and Swansea, first and second, are both on 22 points. Crawley in third, also on 22 points. So we lead the way by virtue of goal difference. Sheffield Wednesday sit ready to pounce on us in fourth place on 21 points, followed by Reading and Sunderland just a few points behind those. And there's a bit of a gap opening to the sort of rest of the table. In terms of the bottom of the table, Leeds, Crewe, Cambridge, Coventry, Burnley, those sorts of teams currently sort of propping up the table. We've already played 4 of those 5 teams, so that perhaps goes some way to explaining our position in the league. Anyway, I'm going to show you the fixtures since the Norwich game, which you would recall we won 1-0. The Greg Nichols penalty after Alan Zlatar committed a professional foul. We went to Shrewsbury with a second string team. I had to bring Greg Nichols on after 60 minutes because we were dire. And yeah, we got taken out 2-1. No real excuses. We were very poor. The tactic was in its infancy. Everyone was sort of getting accustomed to it. It is a strange tactic. In the end, it was a pretty unacceptable result to be knocked out by Shrewsbury, who I believe are a League 2 side. Yes, they are. Managed as they are by Tommy Smith. Doing okay in League 2, but nevertheless, we really should be expecting to beat them. We bounced back in the league by beating Barnsley by 3-1 away from home. The white-headed Jack Whatmuff, getting an own goal for us in the first of the goals. Greg Nichols adding a brace late on after Ivan Martin equalised before half-time. We hosted Burnley and won pretty comfortably in the end, although it took us 67 minutes to get going. Ricky Baxter, the striker, scoring at that time interval, with Damian Martinez-Gonzalez on 79 minutes, cementing the position before Daryl Musselwhite grabbed a stoppage time consolation goal for Burnley. We then had a derby game against Wolves, which we managed to win 3-2, which was a game I think that was more comfortable than the scoreline would suggest. We took a 3-0 lead going into the hour mark. Greg Nichols, Chris White and Radek Holub, the centre-back on loan for us, getting the goal on 57 minutes. Hamichi, another loanee centre-back, scored an own goal on 79. Then we gave away a penalty on 89 to make the scoreline look ugly. We then hosted Cambridge, and we had this game wrapped up fairly quickly, to be honest. We were 3-0 up at half-time. Chris White with the goal. Greg Nichols with another brace. He has been an absolute revelation for us, and what would you expect with those kind of stats in the Championship? He's the leading scorer so far, and long may that continue. Martinez-Gonzalez adding another goal from midfield as well. We then had a couple of pretty unacceptable results, to be honest. Cardiff was the first one. Jack Petty and Jorge Arturo Vazquez getting 2 goals. I believe this second goal here was down to a terrible back pass by one of our defenders. So it's always annoying when your centre-backs make those kinds of mistakes, but as long as they're not routine, then you can just put them down to the fact that they're human, and therefore imperfect and inferior to the master robot race. Bolton were our next opponents at home. Harrison McInnes got an early goal on 13 minutes, and we weren't able to respond in the 77 minutes that we had left to do it, which was extremely disappointing and really sort of threatened to create a bad run. which after a 100% start after 5 games was not what I saw happening. So the next game against Crewe was always going to be crucial, even though they are sort of a relegation struggling team. We needed to beat them and we needed to beat them comfortably. And I believe that is what we did. It wasn't comfortable to begin with. Jay Hart for Crewe grabbing a goal on 16 minutes, but Greg Nichols steps up again with the hat trick to cement another 3 points and continue his wonderful goal scoring form. We then had a ball draw against Middlesbrough, which was not the best result. Middlesbrough being about sort of lurking outside the playoffs. It was probably a result we should have done a lot better in. I think, did we dominate this game statistically? I believe that we did. We just couldn't take our chances. I'm going to have a look at the stats now. Well, we sort of did, but we didn't get enough shots on target for all our possession. We just didn't do much with the ball. And when you're not doing much with the ball, then you're not going to win football matches, and that really should go without saying, really. We then hosted, who I think are the basement dwellers at the moment, Leeds United. I've been taken over by Kieran Gibbs, which is a curious appointment, but hopefully he can turn their season around after a terrible start. We pretty much had the dream 12 minutes to start off with. Ivan Slavkov, Greg Nichols and Dejan Antelek grabbing 3 goals in 12 minutes to really put the game to bed very early. Slavkov added another sort of less than 10 minutes before half-time, before Henry Bihari grabbed a consolation goal on 68 minutes. That leads us into today's live com, and it is the second City derby, so I am so pumped for this game. You may not be able to tell by my voice, but I am really excited to play these. A match that is the biggest match of the season. Obviously not for position, because Birmingham are not doing well at all, but sort of for local pride, bragging rights. Getting one over those Blue Noses, that's what it's all about. I think we're in decent form. I think we're definitely the overwhelming favourites, but we need to make sure we get the job done. Otherwise, it's going to be an embarrassing defeat in my first ever Second City derby as Villa manager, and I do not want that. I'm feeling confident. I think we can take these guys out pretty comfortably, to be honest, but we need to be wary of complacency, and we need to make sure we get the job done early, get the crowd on our side, and hopefully those guys in the North Stand can taunt the Blue Noses for the whole 90 minutes. That's the kind of game that I want to see. In terms of the team for today's game, we're going to have Remy Osborne in goal, Atkinson, Marty, Haloob and Vanguard, the back 4. The midfield 3 of Kareem Sadler, Dejan Antelek and Damian Martinez-Gonzalez. The trio who I believe to be the best 3 midfielders that we have. Chris White is going to be on the left-hand side, with Ricky Baxter and Greg Nichols leading the line. That is what I believe to be probably our strongest team, apart from the odd sort of areas in central defence. But we are trying to rotate as much as we can. That is the name of the game, really. So let's get into the game. They're going with a pretty defensive formation, which is probably what you'd expect. They're going with a back 4, defensive midfielder, flat 4 in midfield, and a very lonely striker up front. Let's hope we can take advantage of his general isolation up front. And we're going to go with... Oh, apparently something happened when we last played Birmingham. We are off here. It's Blues who kick us off. And Sweeney, I don't like how this has started in our own half. But maybe Nichols can launch something here. Martinez-Gonzalez finds White in all sorts of space. His touch is so heavy. And Townsend produces a good save. It's a corner now. Come on, let's whip this in. White. Baxter. Nichols whips. Do something here. He's cleanly tackled, and I think that's the end of the play. Unlucky. Been a good start. We had all sorts of space there. Birmingham really sort of poorly positioned in defence. Their manager's not going to be too happy with that. Another highlight here, Townsend. Let's hope a Villa player can pick this up and maybe score from the halfway line or something. I don't think that's happened. Keeper's been given time to track back, but Baxter plays in Nichols. That's well dealt with again. Antelek finding it out wide to Atkinson. Kareem Sadler now being forced backwards. This isn't what we want. We're playing it nicely though, trying to find an opening. Baxter just wide. Unlucky. We have dominated this game statistically. We need to start putting these chances away. As Nichols whips one in. It's Baxter now. Nichols will give it another go. Takes it round the defender and it's dealt with. Sooner or later they're going to get a chance to score. And if we're not 2 goals in front, then this could be a very humiliating defeat because we have been all over them here. It's Hancock's. This should be our attack again because we have possession and we haven't given it away so far. Look, 70-30 so far after 43 minutes. That is domination of the ball, if ever I did see it. And now it's Baxter. Can he play through Nichols? Yes, he can. Straight at the keeper. Finishing has not been on point at all so far in the first half. I noticed that for the fans, team talks only seem to sort of work in derby games. I learned that when on FMO8 when I played Birmingham in a Premier League game at the time, would you believe? I decided to try the For the Fans team talk, and we took the lead by 4-0 within 20 minutes. So you could say that team talk worked. Anyway, let's make some substitutions. Fresh legs out wide could be something that we're lacking at the moment. I'm also going to bring Ivan Slavkov off because Baxter has had an absolutely shocking game so far. Can we take one of these chances? Only one of these chances goes in, then we will have bragging rights surely because Birmingham have been reduced to 2 shots in the entire game. So let's make this count now. Martinez Gonzalez. Oh, he's dribbling around them all, and the finish is an absolute dog's dinner. I'm not happy with that at all. To be honest, I can see what Paul Lambert's been struggling with now. We can't find the net to save our lives. This is appalling finishing. I mean, this is similar to the Middlesbrough game in so many ways. We just haven't found the back of the net. We've had so many chances! Yes, I'm trying not to swear. I'm so surprised that we've scored. Slavkov slots it in from the most impossible angle. And it all started with Nichols out on the right wing. Slavkov picks it up. How has he squeezed it in from there? That is magical stuff. And we are 1-0 up in the derby. Why have I clicked latest scores? I'm just too excited for my own good here. Let's go on pitch view. Let's sort that out. Let's tell the boys to tighten up for the last 2 seconds of the game. Right, we need to see this out. We really should have won at least 3-0 with the chances we've had. But I will take the 3 points against our bitter, bitter rivals. That is full time. It's not been pretty. It's been a horrible live comp. But I have gotten the 3 points today. And that is all that matters at the end of the day. I don't know. I think I'm going to tell them that they were poor because we couldn't finish for Toffee. And yeah, they're all fired up, which is good to see. Anyway, I'm going to continue until everyone has played their fixture so that we can sort of ascertain what that result means for our position in the league. Alright, we have continued past all the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and it turns out it's been a good day to be a Villa and Swansea fan because Swansea won as well. Crawley drew to drop 2 points behind us and Swansea, with Sheffield Wednesday actually losing. I believe they were beaten by Swansea, if I'm not wrong. I may be wrong. Oh no, Swansea won, Sheffield Wednesday 0. So, Crawley and Sheffield Wednesday falling behind the automatic promotion pack, you could say. But it's far too early in the season to sort of suggest that's massively significant. Nevertheless, we retain top spot on goal difference from Swansea. But after a performance like that, I am slightly concerned because we're not finishing our chances. We're not scoring enough goals, I don't think. Although we do. Wow, look at that. If we look at the goals for, we're actually 9th. So I need to find a way to get some more goals past the opposing keeper, I think. And that comes down to the tactic at the end of the day. So I'm going to need to get my magnifying glass out, do a bit of analysing, and hopefully tweak the tactic to make sure that we can actually attack. Anyway, after that brilliant Second City derby victory, well, I say brilliant, I lie, because it was so scrappy, and we could easily have drawn a game that we dominated. But after that Second City derby victory, that is going to be it for this episode. So take care of yourselves, guys, and I will see you next time.